Electric cars are for short journeys, right? Long-range EVs are too expensive. Or are they? Welcome to the Renault Scenic E-Tech, the electric family car that brings long range and high-tech for an attainable price.
So, long range? Well, you're talking 379 miles of WLTP range from the bigger 87 kilowatt hour battery that we've got here, but you can actually get the Scenic with a smaller 60 kilowatt hour battery, and that does 260 miles of WLTP range. So, you know, that's not bad, especially when you think that the bigger battery starts from £41,000, while the smaller battery is more like £37,500. I think most people will definitely go for that bigger battery, especially as it's not such a massive price jump for a really healthy kind of uptick in range there. So it's really, really good. And I mean, it's even actually cheaper comparably than a lot of other, you know, electric crossover family SUV hatchbacky things like the Tesla Model Y, Kia e-Niro, Peugeot E3008 and all of that stuff. That's quite exciting, right?
Well, I think so. It's well past time that electric cars became more affordable. And while we've got a whole load of new EVs turning up for around £20,000 at the end of this year, the Scenic is arguably the best value crossover for family buyers who want that longer range, helped by the fact that there are some great low-interest finance deals too. After all, even the entry-level Techno model gets 19-inch alloy wheels, a heat pump, reversing camera, metallic paint, automatic LED lights, keyless entry, heated front seats, adaptive cruise control and more.
We would definitely go for the Techno model, not only because it's called the Techno, which is quite fun, but because it's the cheapest and it's kind of got all the equipment you need really, so that's definitely the one to go for. You can get the Scenic in the Esprit Alpine, which sounds very fancy and a bit sporting if you know the Alpine brand, but it's not. It's just a style trim, so you get things like bright blue carpets and various other upgrades, but I don't think it's really worth it. This test car here is the Iconic, which is the top spec car. So you get these really cool 20-inch wheels. You get a very nice panoramic glass roof, which shades in sections, which Renault's very proud of, and it is very cool. Lots of other features, upgraded sound system, but it does break the £45,000 mark.
Obviously, it's called the Scenic, so it needs to be practical, even if this has gone all stylish for the new electrified reinvention of Renault's family favourite model.
And the boot is pretty decent, so you've got 545 litres of boot space, but, and it's a big but, a lot of that space is in the depth of this boot. It is a massively deep space underneath this boot here. So you've got loads of space for your cables, this is all sectioned off, or you can just have the car as standard, which doesn't come with any of this, so you just get a really big deep well of a boot. So still loads of space, but you know, if you've got dogs and stuff, big drop down over the lip, that's not so ideal, it has to be said. So basically, it's not the best out there. Definitely an Enyaq's going to be better if you want a really big boot floor, but it's not terrible either. Ultimately, I think I'm a bit disappointed only because it's a Scenic and I expect a bit more in terms of versatility, to be honest. Even if you do get 40-20-40 split rear seats, I think they could do better.
Still, by today's family crossover standards, the Scenic is one of the roomiest, with masses of space in those rear seats, plus a very nifty centre armrest that can hold and charge 2 phones.
So you may be familiar with this dashboard from other modern Renaults, but that's no bad thing because it means that you get this really big touchscreen here, which I think is one of the best in the class because it's got the Google inbuilt apps and Google Maps, all of that stuff. It is brilliant. So you've got everything you need, really good charger search function, and if you put your destination in, the car will also figure out where's best to charge, figure out how much time that's going to take, give you a really accurate journey time and how much battery you're going to arrive at your destination with. What more do you need? Physical aircon buttons, thank you Renault, and air vents that you can just move in a normal manual fashion, perfect, easy. Generally, I really like the driving position and the dash in the Renault, and I think that Renault have done fabulous work with the materials, love all these textiles. These pale seats that you get in the Iconic are every parent's nightmare, so if you've got little kids particularly, stick with one of the lower trims that get standard kind of leatherette finish that's much more wipe clean, because this pale kind of wholly lovely textural material is, yeah, awful for little kids. It is a bit annoying that you've got a million different stalks on this side, all on the right hand side of the steering wheel, including gears, indicators and all your audio, plus there's paddles for regen. So it's all just a bit too easy. Turn your windscreen wipers on when you're going for reverse or something like that. But other than that, I like it.
As for charging, the basic Scenic manages 130 kilowatts rapid charging, while the bigger battery gets 150 kilowatts, so you get a 20 to 80% rapid charge in under 30 minutes. You also get 22 kilowatt AC charging, which is quite unusual and may be useful if you've got access to faster AC chargers that you typically find in industrial areas. Most buyers will charge at a standard 7 kilowatt home charger, which will take around 14 hours for a full charge.
So, I am going to start here, not by talking about how the Scenic drives, but talking about the stuff that you can turn off. So I have talked many times about safety assistance systems in all the cars that we test on CarGurus UK, and one of my real pet hates is cars that make it really hard to turn off things like lane keep assist, because I drive on roads all the time where it's actually quite dangerous to have it cutting in and applying sort of steering wheel action because it's misread the road in front, which it does a lot. And I think lane keep assist on the motorway is great, by the way. I think it needs to be able to be turned on easily too. Renault has a fantastic system, so you can save your safety settings, so you can choose to have lane keep assist off, and let's say maybe you want the speed limit warning turned off. Not that we ever break the speed limit, obviously, but maybe you want that turned off, and you can save that in your Perso safety settings. And then when you get in the car, because you have to turn these systems off every time you turn the car on because they reset, there is a physical button here next to the steering wheel. You hit it once, twice to confirm, done. What's that? Half a second, less than a second, no faffing in the screen. Brilliant. Thank you, Renault. Thank you for doing something that simple and that effective. The visibility in this isn't great, to be honest. So the view out of the rear window, quite narrow rear window, view to the rear, 3/4, not brilliant, and you've got these big pillars at the front. Now, I will add, the vast majority of cars in this class, in fact, the vast majority of modern cars have exactly the same problems that the Renault has. It's not exclusive to the Renault. But you will notice that the visibility is not great. So it's good that you have got standard blind spot, really good parking camera, and all of that. Another thing is the size of the Scenic. So this car is 4.47 metres long, and that means that it's actually quite a bit smaller than cars like the ID4, the Skoda Enyaq, Tesla Model Y, and I mean actually almost the same footprint as things like the Volkswagen ID3. So it's a bit more compact than you might expect, and that I think is a good thing. Not everybody wants a massive car. Lots of people have got more compact garages, or just annoying car parks they use a lot, whatever. There's lots of reasons to actually actively want a smaller car these days, and I think the Renault's done that well, given how roomy it is inside as well. To be blunt, I don't think anybody's going to buy the Scenic for the way it drives, but I don't think anybody is going to be bothered about the way it drives. It's absolutely fine. Nothing special, but nothing terrible either. 215 brake, 0 to 62 in 7.8 seconds, so it's actually more than fast enough. And you can stick it in sport mode, of course you can. Everything goes bright red on the dials and all of that, and you get really quite heavy steering response and throttle response in that mode. But more often than not, you're going to have it in normal, and it's quite nice. It swings into corners, it's just really comfy, composed, and the ride's pretty decent even on these 20-inch alloys. So I generally really like it. It's nice and quiet, and that kind of is all that you need to know. Oh, I like the regen. So you've got 3 levels of regen, and you control it via the paddles, which is how it should be. So you can get in even if you've not driven an electric car, and I think you'll find it pretty easy to drive.
As for real-world range, well, we're seeing around about 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour in a lot of summer, fairly fast motorway driving, and that's good for around about 300 to 310 miles per charge. Expect that to drop to around 260 to 270 miles in winter.
The Scenic is, well, it's the real deal, isn't it? It's what you want in a family car. They prioritise all the bits that matter, and that is why I genuinely do think it's one of the best cars out there. That's why it also, by the way, won European Car of the Year this year. I'm a judge for that award, by the way, and I heartily approve of that decision. Maybe the Enyaq's up there with it, but I reckon this is the best electric family, crossover hatchback, SUV-ish kind of thing that you can buy.
Don't forget to head to CarGurus.co.uk for a whole host of fantastic used cars, including loads of electric cars, by the way. Like the video, subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel, and ring that little bell, turn your notifications on so that you don't miss any of our videos.